Valerie Bertinelli has just been dramatically escorted off the set of the Kelly Clarkson Show following what insiders are calling an explosive on-air confrontation that left the live studio audience stunned and social media in absolute chaos. Today everybody is talking about the moment when Valerie, who was a guest promoting her new cookbook, suddenly snapped at Kelly Clarkson over what started as a seemingly innocent question about weight loss journeys and body positivity. The exchange escalated so quickly that producers had no choice but to cut to commercial, and security was called to remove Valerie from the stage while Kelly tried to keep her composure in front of millions of viewers at home. The entire incident reportedly began when Kelly, who has been very open about her own dramatic weight loss over the past few years, asked Valerie how she truly felt about the constant public scrutiny regarding her appearance, especially after Valerie herself went through a very public divorce and emotional eating struggles that she documented on social media for years. Valerie apparently took the question as a personal attack, accusing Kelly of flaunting her new slim figure while ignoring the real pain that many women go through when they can't just snap their fingers and drop 50 pounds overnight. The tension was palpable from the very first second Valerie raised her voice, saying, quote, "I have been fat, I have been thin, and I have been everything in between, and let me tell you something, Kelly, not all of us have Ozempic money or whatever magic pill you are on right now." The audience gasped audibly and Kelly's face turned bright red as she tried to steer the conversation back to a positive place, but Valerie was not having it. She continued ranting about how the entertainment industry punishes women who age naturally and gain weight while rewarding those who conform to impossible beauty standards no matter what chemical help they get. Behind the scenes, crew members were seen whispering frantically into their headsets, and the show's executive producer was reportedly watching from the control room with his head in his hands, wondering how a feel-good cooking segment turned into a full-blown celebrity meltdown within minutes. The clip is already going viral across TikTok, Twitter, and Instagram, with millions of views and thousands of people taking sides. Some are calling Valerie a hero for speaking truth to power, while others are dragging her for being jealous, bitter, and completely unprofessional, especially toward Kelly, who has always positioned herself as a champion for body acceptance and mental health awareness. This is not the first time Valerie Bertinelli has made headlines for speaking her mind unfiltered. Remember when she clapped back at food critics who called her recipes too calorie heavy, or when she posted that emotional video crying about being called fat by internet trolls after her divorce from Tom Vitale. She has built an entire brand around being the relatable hot mess who tells it like it is, but today many are saying she finally crossed the line by attacking another woman who has been nothing but supportive of the same causes. The backlash against Valerie is growing by the hour, with hashtags like Valerie is over party trending nationwide, while Kelly Clarkson remains completely silent on social media, which is only fueling the speculation that she is absolutely devastated by what happened on her own show. Sources close to the production say that Kelly was shaking backstage after Valerie was removed, and that she had to be consoled by her team for almost 20 minutes before they could resume taping the rest of the episode without a studio audience. This is a huge embarrassment for NBC and for Kelly, who has worked so hard to make her talk show a safe and uplifting space for celebrities to open up about their struggles. Clearly that backfired in the worst way possible today, and the question now is whether Valerie Bertinelli will ever be welcomed back on daytime television after burning this particular bridge in such spectacular fashion. The internet never forged TS, and neither will Kelly Clarkson's loyal fanbase, who are coming for Valerie with pitchforks right now. Let's go back to the very beginning of this now infamous appearance, because the tension was actually building long before the cameras started rolling. According to multiple production insiders, Valerie Bertinelli arrived at the studio already in a foul mood, complaining about everything from the temperature of her dressing room to the brand of sparkling water that was provided. She allegedly told a staff member that she was exhausted from doing press all week for her new memoir cookbook hybrid titled Enough Already: Lessons in Letting Go, and that she wasn't in the mood for any fake Hollywood chit-chat. When she finally sat down with Kelly for the pre-interview, Kelly apparently tried to bond over their shared experiences as divorced working moms who found comfort in food during dark times, but Valerie shut it down immediately, saying she didn't want to rehash her divorce on national television again because the tabloid DS had already picked her life apart for the past 3 years. Fast forward to the live taping and you can actually see in the footage that Valerie's body language was closed off from the moment she walked on stage. Her arms were crossed, she barely smiled, and when Kelly complimented her on looking radiant, Valerie responded with a curt thank you that sounded more sarcastic than sincere. The first 10 minutes of the segment were actually quite pleasant. They laughed about Valerie's famous lemon cake recipe and Kelly even joked about gaining the COVID-19 like so many of us did. But then came the fatal question. Kelly very innocently asked Valerie, since you've been so honest about loving food and loving your body at every size, how do you feel when you see all these celebrities suddenly looking completely different overnight? Do you think the conversation around body positivity is changing? And that is when Valerie lost it completely. She leaned forward in her chair, stared directly into Kelly's eyes and unleashed a 5-minute tirade that covered everything from Hollywood's obsession with youth to the dangerous messaging behind weight loss drugs to the fact that some women simply do not have the same resources or genetics as others. She even brought up Kelly's ex-husband Brandon Blackstock completely unprompted, saying that maybe if some men didn't cheat and destroy their wives' self-esteem, we wouldn't need to drown our sorrows in macaroni and cheese. The audience went from polite laughter to complete silence as Valerie kept going, getting louder and more animated with every sentence. At one point she actually stood up from her chair and started pacing the stage like she was giving a TED Talk on rage. Kelly tried multiple times to interject with things like, I completely understand where you're coming from and I have never claimed to have it all figured out, but Valerie just talked right over her, refusing to let Kelly get a word in edgewise. Finally the show's floor manager gave the signal to cut to commercial, and 2 security guards appeared from the wings to escort Valerie off the set. While she was still mid-sentence yelling about privilege and hypocrisy, she didn't go quietly either, reportedly shouting, I'm not done yet, as they led her toward the exit door. The entire incident lasted less than 8 minutes from the triggering question to Valerie being physically removed, but those 8 minutes have already become daytime television legend and will probably be studied in media classes for years to come about the moment when keeping it real went completely off the rails. Backstage the chaos was apparently 10 times worse because Valerie refused to return after the commercial break even when 3 different producers begged her, claiming she felt ambushed and minimized. Kelly, who is famously emotional and hates confrontation, was crying in her dressing room while her executive producer tried to calm her down, telling her they would just cut the entire segment and pretend it never happened. Meanwhile, Valerie's manager was on the phone demanding an apology on behalf of his client for what he called insensitive and triggering questions that had not been cleared in pre-interview. The show's staff had to scramble and pull a previously recorded performance segment to fill the time, which is why viewers who watched the episode when it aired 3 weeks later noticed the weird jump from Kelly introducing Valerie to suddenly cutting to a random country singer no one had ever heard of. Within hours of the taping, both teams lawyered up, with Valerie's side threatening to go public if the footage ever leaked and Kelly's team insisting that Valerie had signed the standards release that allows them to use whatever happens on set. By the end of the day, security had quietly walked Valerie out a side exit while she was still clutching the gift bag every guest gets, an image that someone snapped and sent to Dukes Moy before the account was forced to take it down. The fallout has been brutal for both women, but especially for Valerie, who has spent years cultivating an image of radical honesty and body positivity only to now be painted as the angry guest who couldn't take a compliment. Inside entertainment circles, the story spreading is that Kelly never meant any harm and was following the talking points given to her by producers who thought comparing weight loss stories would make for great television. While Valerie's friends say she's been struggling with perimenopause and grief anniversaries and was already on edge before she even arrived at NBC's studios in Burbank, some staff members claim Valerie had been drinking from a large thermos all morning that definitely didn't smell like coffee, while others swear she was stone cold sober and simply reached a breaking point after years of being asked the same invasive questions. Kelly apparently sent flowers and a long text apology that same night, but Valerie never responded and instead posted a cryptic Instagram story about when women tear each other down under the guise of girl talk that got over 2 million views before she deleted it. Their mutual friends in the industry are reportedly trying to organize some kind of peace summit, but so far neither side will agree to be in the same room together. Now the big question everyone is asking is whether the unaired footage will ever see the light of day, because whoever leaks it first basically wins the narrative war. There are already blind items all over gossip sites claiming that a junior staffer has a full unedited copy and is shopping it to the highest bidder, with rumored asking prices in the mid-six figures. Page 6, TMZ, and Entertainment Tonight all have reporters camped outside both women's houses waiting for some kind of statement, but so far the only official word has come from Kelly's publicist, who said her client wishes Valerie nothing but the best, and from Valerie's rep, who released a statement about how his client is focusing on healing and her upcoming cookbook tour. Fans have completely split into camps, with Kelly's loyal audience calling Valerie bitter and jealous, while Valerie's diehards are praising her for finally saying what needed to be said about Hollywood's obsession with thinness at any cost. The whole situation has reignited the never-ending debate about Ozempic and celebrity weight loss, with think pieces popping up everywhere, from The Cut to Fox News, about whether Kelly was wrong to bring it up or whether Valerie overreacted to what most people would consider a compliment.